Cycling is the most famous for its amazing moments. Sometimes it extracts people for its epic victories, other times for epic moments. And this time we're going to talk about these moments, but in epic fails. Let us see. Hello people, welcome back to Cycling Right Now. Today we're going to talk about the 10 most epic fails in cycling. So stick with the video and watch until the end to know everything about it. Let's begin. All bikers have a credo that is considerably more essential than sock height and tan lines. Keep the rubber side down. However, the following bikers will need to study up since something went wrong somewhere along the way. We couldn't be happier. Except for massive Tour de France pileups, these 10 humorous cycling mistakes are the best of the worst. On number 10, Tom Dumoulin on the Giro d'Italia. Tom Dumoulin won the 14th stage following a spectacular summit finish in Oropa, when the Dutch Team Sunweb rider was unable to follow Nairo Quintana when the Colombian attacked, with 4 kilometers remaining on the 131-kilometer stage from Castellania on the day's solitary climb. He seemed to be losing time to his closest challenger. Nonetheless, he grabbed the Movistar leader and attacked in the last 300 meters to defeat Russian Ilnur Zakarin by 3 seconds and Spain's Mikel Landa by 9 seconds, with Quintana finishing 14 seconds behind. Overall, Dumoulin leads at the moment on Quintana by 2 minutes and 47 seconds, and France's Thibaut Pinot, who was 6th, 35 seconds behind by 3 minutes 25. Dumoulin, a time trial specialist with respectable climbing talents, was anticipated to lose time on his main opponents on the last hill, but he controlled his effort precisely to extend his advantage. When Quintana attacked, I didn't panic. I timed myself and then gave all I had, he said. Quintana's first effort divided the favourites. The Dutchman Bauke Mollema, who began the day in 3rd position overall, crumbled, losing over 2 minutes and dropping to 5th. Number 9, Gletser in high-speed crash at a velodrome. Matt Gletzer's attempt for a 6th Commonwealth Games gold medal has been wrecked by a stunning high-speed accident in the Keirin, which left Australia's finest sprint cyclist wounded and bruised on London's Olympic velodrome track. His terrible spill in the quarterfinal, which left his outfit shredded and frayed, also led to Bridger Truman requiring oxygen at the side of the track before he recovered from a concussion. Maeve Plouffe, considered the next great Australian women's cycling star, earned a 2nd gold medal in the space of 24 hours, adding the 3,000-meter solo pursuit silver to the gold she won in a team event. Following the track team's hat-trick of gold on the first day, Plouffe's fellow pursuiter Conor Leahy won his 2nd bronze medal in 2 days in the men's 4,000-meter solo race. However, the collision involving Gletser, who was attempting to win the Keirin sprint for the 3rd time in a row, overshadowed the 2 gold. Gletser was sent falling and spinning to the floor in a collision with 4 riders all jockeying for position on the last lap, but it was Truman who suffered the most. When he sat up after his medical treatment and looked to be alright, the audience erupted in cheers. Earlier in the thrilling session for Australia, Plouffe's compatriot Sarah Roy was defeated in the 3,000 meters bronze medal event. Number 8, Tadej Pogačar had pledged to go on the attack once the Tour de France reached the Pyrenees, and he did it. Even if race leader Jonas Vingegaard proved to be unstoppable once again. To add salt to the wound, the defending champions UAE Team Emirates outfit suffered another setback when Marc Soler completed the day 15 minutes late. The Spaniard had been noticeably sick during the stage, and his withdrawal has left Pogačar with just 4 players to depend on moving ahead. It wasn't the day I had hoped for, Pogačar said after the race. I tried, but this was not our day. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great either. The Slovenian attempted numerous attempts distant from the finish line of stage 16 to Fox, attacking twice on the Porte de l'Ers with more than 50 kilometers remaining. He went again after finishing the first category climb, hoping to pull away on the descent. None of the movements worked, and there would be no more on the treacherous Mont de Péguer, where most anticipated Pogačar go on the attack. Number 7. On Saturday, the 108th Tour de France cycling race got off to a wild start when a spectator's sign collided with a competitor, resulting in a massive pileup. The fans seemed to be smiling and facing the same way as the racers, with a giant cardboard sign poking out onto the tiny rural lane. Tony Martin, a 36-year-old German cyclist, was apparently the first to fall, followed by a nearby competitor who collided with him. In black marker, the spectator's sign said, Ale Opi Omi as a message to the holder's grandparents. It was unclear if anybody had been badly hurt in the collision of bicycles and people, although at least one person's bike looked to have cracked. Some competitors, including Martin, who seemed to have had a bleeding arm, picked themselves up and rode on, with the 29-year-old French cyclist Julien Alaphilippe finishing first. Others waited for their teams' new bikes to arrive, but it wasn't all plain sailing from there. A second large accident, this time at a faster pace, tripped up several of the riders who had either missed or conquered the first. One of the riders, who was thrown off his bike, just avoided colliding with a telephone pole down the road. Number 6. Cyclist's injury from handlebars. During the MTB race, a cyclist was trying to avoid another cyclist who had fallen, but in the process he fell onto his handlebars. This would have been fine, but as the two cyclists lay on the ground, another cyclist fell on top of them and the handlebar cut right through the cyclist. Number 5. A Spanish cyclist was rescued while traversing Siberia in negative 50 degrees Celsius conditions. A dumb error almost cost him his life after completing 50 kilometers and ready to pitch a tent he was carrying. Jose Andres slipped his hand out of his glove to raise the tent pole quicker, oblivious to the fact that the temperature was negative 50 degrees Celsius. Because it was so cold, his fingertips became black in frostbite in only a few minutes. The adventure cyclist's journey was about to end in disaster, but Albion hurriedly went inside the tent to attempt to stay warm. Fortunately, several Russians passed by in a vehicle and stopped to assist him. They saw he had black fingers and one leg had frostbite. They hurriedly loaded him into the vehicle and drove him to the hospital in Magadan. Number 4. Cuts and road rash are common at the end of a race, but Chantal Vandan broke right black's arm looked like a disaster area following stage 5 of the Tour de France Femme. She had several fresh gashes on her right forearm from what looked like contact with a chain ring when she stepped off of the SD Works team van and into the tree-shaded area by the river to speak with her team manager. Both the upper and the lower region saw significant growth. Number 3. Italian Luca Wackerman has withdrawn from the Giro d'Italia after suffering several injuries in a dramatic incident caused by a low-flying aircraft during the 4th stage. The incident that killed Wackerman and the Dutch Etienne van Empel of the Vinny Zabu KTM team occurred at the finish of the stage when a barrier was blasted over by the flow from the helicopter and hit the two riders. Number 2. If you can almost touch the finish line and feel like a winner, that's awesome. Some bikers have way too much faith in the future. As they near the finish line, they ease off the pedals and raise their arms triumphantly. Okay, so they think they've won the race. However, not yet. Nobody has alerted them to the fact that their rival is just about to cross the finish line. Just as they are ready to cross the line, their opponent does it first. They end up coming in dead last. They can even worry that the title is being stealth changed for them. There are some that are even worse. When they try to balance by spreading their arms, they end up falling. They're so clumsy that they immediately get up, pick up the bike and continue on their way. But it's too late now though. Number 1. Recently, many cyclists were injured in a huge accident over a speed bump barely 700 meters from the finish line of the Tour of Burgos second stage. A dozen cyclists were injured in the incident, which occurred at the finish of the journey from Vivar del Cid to Villa Diego. Damien Jose of the AG2R team suffered a head trauma, followed by a concussion after his fall, according to his club's Twitter account. Jose was conscious while being brought to the hospital. Clement Berthat, another teammate, shattered a finger and was scheduled to have a surgery. So here we are done with this video. Let us know in the comment box what you think about this one. If you like our content, like it and share it with your friends. Also subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon to get a notification of all our latest videos. Thanks for watching.